Sorry, I'm literally just reading through the reviews on this book, wondering why it only has 4 stars. Like, excuse me. Hello and welcome to another episode of Cheap Smut. I am Katie Mizell.
And I am Carl Mizell.
And this is a podcast where I read a smutty book and then tell my husband the plot. Welcome.
Thank you. We're so excited because we made sure that we are not messing this episode up like we messed up the last episode.
Yeah. Which is a real bummer because that was a great episode.
Yeah.
But I can't in good conscience release the audio of it.
No, I was thinking about it today. When I was walking around the small city that was the convention center that I was in Columbus, Ohio today. And I was thinking maybe one day.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
very distant day.
I was thinking like maybe if we ever have enough of a following to have a Patreon, we could release it. Like, oh, you like us enough.
Exactly. You're willing to give us a little bit of money every month.
Oh, you want to hear that one? Give me $2.
Yeah, give me $2 to listen to what is essentially... It sounds like we hid a microphone, a real shitty microphone.
Really, it's just a laptop microphone.
It sounds so bad. But we're so glad to be back. I'm glad to be back, not just to the show, but home. I have only been home for like 2 hours.
Yeah,
I've been
little
gone
less
for 5 days.
Yes, and I'm so glad to have you back.
I know you are. I'm not, and not just because you love me. Just so damn much, but because those damn kids are just, they're kids.
Yes, I do love you. I love you so much. I missed your face.
I missed your face.
And being with you and just hanging out with you and stuff because you're my best friend and stuff.
And you were mine.
But also, I mean, I don't know how single parents do it.
Oh God,
they
no.
are heroes.
Yeah, they are.
They deserve respect. They should be treasured because 5 days with just these 2 little kids, and I thought I was going to go insane.
Yeah, and you are even luckier and very, very fortunate to not have to be a working single parent.
Yes.
Oh my God.
God, it would have been so much harder.
Yeah.
I was talking to my best friend. I was texting them yesterday. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do another day of if I spend one more day with just children, my brain is going to leak out of my ears. Like,
yeah,
it's all Minecraft and the almost 2-year-old learning words and just pointing at things and talking, which is adorable.
Yeah.
But also then I have to go into toddler interpreter mode.
Yep.
And try and figure out what the hell she's talking about.
And nobody knows.
No. Yesterday, she just started making cat sounds. She was just sitting there and she just started going, meow, meow.
Tell everybody what the thing you texted me.
Which thing?
About her climbing up on the chair. She was trying to climb up on the chair and you asked.
Oh, yeah. So I was sitting on the sofa and she wanted to climb up and sit in my lap, which is what she always does. So she brought her food over and she put it down and then she tried to climb in my lap, but she couldn't get over my legs because I sit, crisscrossy almost everywhere. And I was like, do you need help? And she said, no, try harder. And I was like, what? And so she sort of resituated herself into a better position so she could climb up. She said, no, try harder, as if she wanted to do it by herself. She just needed to try a little harder. And I was like, I told you, it was, I wanted to throw up because it was incredibly cute and adorable, but also like, she's a baby.
Yeah, and we've never told her to try harder.
No.
And we've never used those words.
No, I don't even know where she got that from. Probably Blippi or Coco Melon, like the only 2 shows
Baby
she watches.
Finn.
Yeah,
Coco or Bebe.
And Bitty.
Oh, is that Blippi?
Blippi.
Okay.
So wherever she got it from, it was adorable, and I was like, oh, you're gonna be something, aren't you, babe?
Yes, she is.
You are gonna be amazing. I mean, I know her brother's also going to be amazing in his own very unique, goofy, strange child ways. I can already tell he's going to be amazing, but she's got something in her.
That video you said of him from school, the whole I don't have enough, but it's good. But it's good.
It's okay. It's good.
So it's good. The way.
Yeah. Waving his little hand because he didn't have enough room to write the word scat in the little rhyming phrase.
Is that what he was saying?
Yeah.
Okay,
It was
I told the fat cat to scat.
Yeah.
And-
I told the fat cat to scat. And he's in preschool, and he's a little advanced. Him and a couple of his other classmates get extra like reading and writing time usually during rest time because they don't need to take naps. And that's what they were doing in the hallway. They were practicing their writing and reading. And he didn't have enough room to write the whole word out. He's like, it's good. It's good. I just made the T. Or I think the cross on the T. He just had to make it shorter.
It was the best. But yeah.
But enough. This is not.
I was going to say it's not a podcast about our kids.
Yeah, this is not a Katie does 45 minutes on how fucking awesome her children are podcast. This is a Katie does 45 minutes on how fucking awesome a book is podcast.
That is not safe for children.
It's not safe for children.
Not even the cool babies.
No, God, no. This is a podcast that is so explicit. I would hope that by now we are on episode 7.
Yeah.
We could safely just not do the explicit warning at the top.
We don't need to tell you.
But this is not a podcast for children, so we're going to stop talking about ours and get into this book.
Yes. And what are you reading this week?
This week, by the skin of my teeth, because the children will not let me sit and read for nothing.
No, even it's been beautiful outside.
Yes.
And you've been outside all day, most of the day with the kids.
Yeah. It's been gorgeous, sunny and high 70s, and they want to go outside, but they only want to I'm just like, I'm just going to sit in my chair and I'm going to read my book. Okay. I'm just going to sit in my chair and read my book. And every 5 seconds, the older one, Mom, look at me. Mom, look. Yep. Mom, look.
And he's doing nothing.
Yeah.
But anyway, not talking about our kids.
Anyway, yes. Enough of that. So this week I read The Vampire in the Bookstore by Elle M. Drew. Is available on Kindle for $2.99. It's also available through Kindle Unlimited. It's a novella. It's only 148 pages long. So it's a longer novella. But I would not call this a book. Like not a novel. That was the wrong thing to say. I wouldn't.
What the fuck would you call it?
I know, right?
Cheese Danish.
It's a nerd rope. No. It's not a novel. Okay. I wouldn't necessarily call it a novel, but it is a long novella.
All right.
How's that? It is fantastic. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Like I was telling you at the start of the episode, I went into the Kindle store just to see how much it cost to do this bit, and I saw that it only had 4 stars, and I was like, "Excuse me? What do you mean it only has 4 stars?" But then again, I'm apparently in a bit of a minority in the book, like the book talk world.
Yeah.
Is having like a fairly in-depth discussion about like when something should deserve 5 stars. How do you start? Like, do you start from 0 stars and then you add them up? Do you start from 5 and then you take them down? I just love these. I just love books. Okay.
You're pretty indiscriminate. You're just a you're like romance books are to you what baseball is to me.
Yeah. No, it's my genre and I love it. I also have learned how to avoid the stuff I don't like.
Right.
So, but the stuff I do like is so broad that avoiding the stuff I don't like is easy because it's only like 4 things.
That's true. Do we have any content warnings?
Absolutely, I do. Elle M. Drew was kind enough to put a content warning at the very beginning, but I also wanted to read their dedication page.
Yes.
Because I think it's fantastic. It says, "For you, you naughty monster forker." Literally says forker. You saw the cover featuring a plus-size girl with a belly and her shirt falling open and blood running down from where a vampire had just bitten her and his hands all over her, and you said to yourself, this one is for me. You're right. It is for you. Enjoy.
Yeah. I figured you sent me that fan art, and
that fan art is actually from a different book.
Oh, okay.
That fan art is not fan art. It was commissioned art by the author.
Oh, okay, then.
Emmeline Quinn for her book Halloween.
Oh, so that's just a different vampire?
It is a different vampire in a different face-sitting scene because there's a big face-sitting scene in this one too.
Well, let's not give away too much of the plot.
What plot? This book was 50% fucking. It was great. So
74 pages of fucking.
This is the cover that she's talking about.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I
just wanted to show it to you. We can put it on our socials when the time comes.
I can put that fan art on the socials too. Like I like to do the thing where whenever there's something that could be a picture, I like to put it on the so people can reference it.
Okay, I will get you the SFW version of that to put on the socials because it is not.
Oh, that's right.
It is
because Instagram sucks.
A full on. It's a drawing, but that bitch is sitting on his face.
Yeah, and she's got her hands right on his junk.
Yeah, and his junk is fully exposed, so we can't put that on Instagram. But I will give you the SFW version from Emma Lyon's original post.
All right, fine.
So, but the content warning for this book.
Face sitting.
Okay, sexual content is the very first one.
Oh.
Biting kink, pain kink, blood kink, choking kink, primal play, praise kink, stalking, morally gray main characters. These people are not morally gray. Okay. Age gap. He's like 1,000. She's in her 30s.
Yeah.
Descriptions of feeling high from blood. Death of a side character on page. I wouldn't call her a side character. Rebirth of a main character. Bibliophilia. Straight up like
book fucking?
But not book fucking, but like she we'll get to it.
I know what a bibliophile is.
I know.
I just want to say you book fucker.
Yeah, you're such a fucking book fucker. Okay, so that's the content warning list is rather long. And I appreciate that. It gives you just every little thing that you might encounter in this. But for sure, blood sharing, blood drinking, blood is in this book. It's not in a dark or creepy way.
In a happy, fun way.
They are having so much happy fun.
Well, good for them.
But if you have an issue with blood, I would be like stick away. I mean, you'd think like it's a vampire book, you would stick away, but stick away from this one for sure.
No, I totally understand. I remember when I read what was the name of that book? They turned it into the FX show about vampires. The Strain.
Oh God!
The way they described it in that book, it was bad.
No.
Yeah, I'm not gonna rehash it here because I just mentioned it and it upset you.
I hate it. Well, because I have a thing with parasites.
Yeah.
I can't read anything or watch anything that has parasites in it.
No. Yeah.
And the Strain's version of vampires are
parasitic.
They're loaded down with like parasitic worms.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's
and they have proboscis. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about a happier vampire book.
Let's talk about a handsome vampire named Declan, shall we?
Let's.
Okay, so Declan is our hero. Declan Triarius.
Our MMC.
Our MMC.
I'm learning.
Good for you. And he's not even sure how old anymore.
Same.
Vampire.
Somebody asked me at the conference how old I was. I was like, I don't know.
I was just remembering this the other day. I was hanging out at my parents' house, and one of their neighbors pulled up to talk to me because she hadn't seen me in a while, and I was in their driveway. And she was like, "How old are you now?" And at the time, I was 31, and I very confidently said 30. And
confidently incorrect.
I was like, maybe that's how I stay young. I just
lie.
Fully believe it. It's
you
not
can't
a
just
lie
say
if
it,
you
Carl.
fully believe it.
Yeah.
I can be one of those assholes who's having her 25th birthday again forever. No, I'm 25. I believe it. What do you mean I have to go to this special place where they make me take medicine and sit in a group for an hour and a half every, twice a day?
Give me that back. Give me my driver's license back. Why are you taking my keys? Grandma, I'm 25.
I pay my own bills. You can't take it away from me.
Okay, so Declan.
I don't pay my own bills.
Really?
At all.
No, I do.
Okay, so Declan. Declan is a very, very old vampire who loves books.
Okay.
Loves them so much. And he has a massive collection, and the book starts with him heading to a bookstore that he doesn't actually really like to frequent because the woman who runs it is a bitch.
Fair.
She's a very small side character. Oh, Death of a side character. They're talking about someone else. Okay. She's a very small side character. But he's going to this bookstore because it's the only used bookstore in town that sells books that they get from estate sales, which are, if you are a collector of things, estate sales are gold, right?
We got a washing machine from there once.
We did. We bought a washing machine for $100. And when he gets to this bookstore, he's walking through, going back to where he always goes. He immediately sees super awesome, mega hottie. Her name is Rosamund.
Good
and
name.
She piques his interest because she smells like books. To his advanced vampire senses, she's got like, I think it's like ink coming out of her pore. Not literally, because that would be a different book.
And also problematic. You should see a doctor.
No, I wouldn't call it problematic. I would call it a problem.
Well, yeah, that's I don't mean problematic in the way that we tend to use it for everything these days. I mean, like, that is something you should have checked out.
Right. Yeah. No, ink is just leaking out of your pores, Rosamund. You need to go to the hospital right now. No, she smells like ink. She smells like old paper. She smells like vellum.
Yep.
He wants to get to know her more. She's this super thick, like triple C thick, big titty hottie.
Once again, you have my attention. I say once again, referencing an episode that no one has heard.
Yeah, because Latte Darling also featured a triple C thick, big titty hottie. Yeah. But she is just perusing books, and he walks up to her and he starts talking. They immediately start flirting. And she's super into him immediately. They have a conversation for like 30 minutes about books and how much she loves books. And she loves books so much that she's an archivist. It's what she does for a living. She finds and repairs old books by hand. Mm-hmm. That's a dying art, by the way. And I think restoration is one of the coolest fucking things. Like, if I could go back and change my major and redo it all, I would do art restoration or something, because I think restoration is cool as shit. But anyway, so he offers to take her to dinner because he doesn't want to stop talking to her. This is an insta-love book, by the way. We haven't done an insta-love yet, but that is self-explanatory, I think.
Yeah. Like when I met you.
No.
I know we've had this conversation before. I loved you from the second I saw you. It took you a little bit longer.
Yeah, not much, but a little. We even put it in our wedding vows and everything. Oh, aren't we cute? Anyway.
Yeah, we're all right.
The bitchy woman who runs the store is like, I want to go home now because it's the very end of the day. He has to go at night, obviously. Yep. And so he has a very limited window in which to shop, and he hasn't done any shopping. He's been too busy trying to get with this lady. And so he buys the books that she's holding. Just like, put it on my tab. We're getting out of here. He has a tab at a bookstore, which sounds amazing. And never let that happen. We'll go bankrupt if I have a tab at a bookstore.
Yeah, I won't, because I would do the same thing.
Yeah. So they walk to this restaurant that's around the corner. It's lovely, like flirtatious, getting to know you chatter stuff. It's a really good, like last week in the episode that will never be released. Part of what makes this book so great is because the connection between these two characters and the conversations that they have is really natural and flows really well. Yeah. When they get to the restaurant, they sit down, they order whatever the food is. I can't remember what it is. Declan can eat. In some versions of the vampire myth, vampires can't eat. Twilight vampires can, but Molly Harper's vampires will projectile vomit if they eat because their bodies can't process protein solids anymore. And while they're sitting and having this lovely conversation, and she's getting to know him and he's getting to know her and all that stuff, she's being sort of perved on by the waiter. Mm-hmm. And so at one point during the meal, he's like, excuse me, I have to go to the bathroom. And he gets up and he goes and he follows the server out back and eats him, like murders him in the alley.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I have to eat because I'm hungry.
Yeah. And fuck that guy.
And fuck that guy also. But he also wants to make sure that he is fed before he takes her home so that he doesn't do anything stupid.
Yeah.
This book does pop back and forth between points of view. I am telling this all from Declan's point of view right now, but Rosamund, let's move on to Rosamund, our fantastic and wonderful. This may be the morally gray thing that they're talking about in the content warning.
She's an assassin.
No.
Oh, okay.
She knows Declan. She knows who Declan is because he is her favorite author. And she figured out where he lived. This is in a nebulous sort of place and time, you know, like nobody has a cell phone that I can tell. But that doesn't mean that they don't exist. It just means that Rosamund doesn't use a cell phone or whatever. And he lives just outside of town, and he walks into town, but the town is fairly large, and like she found him and she must live nearby or something.
She saw him turn into a bat, and it got weird.
Yeah. No, so she has gone to this bookstore specifically to find him. How? I don't know. But she's a stalker.
Oh, okay.
Let's just get that out there right now.
Okay.
She figured out where Declan Triarius lived, where he was gonna be, and went to that place to meet him. That was the only plan she had. Like, she didn't have anything beyond that. Wasn't even sure she was going to talk to him, if he was even going to show up. But serendipity, he did show up, and he then asked her out to dinner because he thought she was a fucking mega hottie who smelled like books. Also, from description, these two people are, I'm sure, super hot, but also like normal looking people. Even Declan, and usually vampires and the supernatural, they're so pretty.
Yeah.
But he seems like a fairly normal dude. I think he's wearing khakis. Like he's just a normal guy.
Yeah.
He happens to be a couple millennia old, and he's wearing khakis.
After that long, I can't imagine I'd give a shit about what I wore.
Oh no, I can't either. I think it's funny. I don't know if it's like an Anne Rice thing, if Anne Rice is the one who made this popular, but like for a long time, every vampire in every book or movie was dressed like
a vampire.
Like a vampire,
like what we now consider to be a vampire.
It was either like a pseudo-Victorian thing, or they dressed like David Tennant's character in Good Omens.
Yeah.
Yep.
It
was like all black and super stylish, and everything was like skinny jeans and emo boys. But anyway, so Rosamund's sitting at the table while he's gone, and she is freaking out because she's having dinner with Declan Triarius, her hero, the mega hottie in her brain, Declan Triarius. And he invites her, once he gets back to the table, invites her to come home with him to see his library, because he has his own personal library, and she is a true bibliophile.
Yeah.
And so they finish up their dinner. They go to his house. It's not a house. It's an estate. It's like a fucking mega mansion.
I drove by one in the middle of nowhere, Ohio today.
Yeah?
I forgot that drive from Columbus back, because we made it so many times when my sister lived down there.
Mm-hmm.
There's that long stretch where you're like on surface roads.
Yeah,
and you're going
that 2-lane divided highway thing.
And it's all loopy. It's like you could see it. It's like gated and back off the road, but you can still tell that there's like 4 like houses on this property. Massive. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's set in...
Maybe it's in the middle of nowhere, Ohio.
Mount Air, I believe. No, I'm serious. Like, I think it's called Mount Air.
No, I believe you.
Anyway.
So they get back to his house. It's a fucking gigantic estate. It's not even a mansion. It is an estate. Like, she spends a paragraph trying to figure out what style it's in, and she determines that it has to be in the Roman something style, because she's like, well, it's not blah 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 because there aren't enough columns or whatever. So it's fancy.
Yeah, I used to know those. I used to know the difference, but I don't anymore.
Yeah, I don't either. So she's like, there's like a 1,000 stairs just to get to the front door, and he's like, oh, don't worry, we're gonna go in through the servants entrance, which is like under the stairs, because of course it is, because when this place was built, no one who was a servant would ever be allowed to go through the front door.
Well, no, they'd be too fucking tired to serve you if you made them climb all those fucking stairs. You go in right there and take the elevator. I want you fresh.
Elevator must have been a crank elevator. They wouldn't waste electricity on the help.
No, they go up the dumbwaiter. want you on top of your game.
Hand cranked elevator. So they get into his house and they're walking down these long corridors, so many doors. And he's like, I hope you don't think it's weird that most of this place is empty. Like, I don't need all of these rooms. Then why do you live in the house, Declan? Why do you live in the big fucking house? The answer is because it's got a massive fucking library.
Of course it does. Of course it. I'm guessing he's got first edition folios of Shakespeare and.
Well, he wouldn't have a first folio because there's only 3 in existence.
Well, he's probably got one of them.
They're all in museums.
Oh, come on, Declan.
Yeah, right.
Fucking poser.
As far as I know, every first folio is in a museum, but that's only because I studied Shakespeare in college. Who knows what happened after that? It's been, God, has it been 10 years since I graduated from college?
No, it's been 12.
Oh my fucking God. I'm so old. Anyway, he leaves her outside of the door to the library. He's like, I want you to see it, but I want you to see it
with goofy glasses on.
In its like all its glory.
Oh, okay.
So he leaves her outside and he like lights the fire and turns on all the like recessed lighting and makes it all warm and cozy for her, and then he brings her in. And the whole time, by the way, both of these people are just like desperate to fuck each other.
Oh yeah.
They're so into each other.
Yep.
Which is great, for smut. You want them to be interested in fucking each other, otherwise what would it be? Not smut. Probably not true. I'll get to that later. Sorry, I told you this, but dear listener, I didn't make notes on this book. What I have done in the past is I have read a chapter, gone back to the beginning of the chapter, and made notes on that chapter so that I could detail everything that was in it. But this time I'm letting the ADHD run the show. So I'm just telling you what I remember, and I hope that I get most of it.
Fair.
So he covers her eyes and takes her in to the library, and the whole time he can smell how horny she is for him because vampires can smell that kind of thing, apparently. And I think that's awful. We already talked about this during Baby in the Late Night Howlers. Yeah. The idea that you could smell how horny someone was, I would hate it. I would hate it because I would just be walking down the street and go, this is not a place where you should be horny right now, sir. Go home. You aren't allowed to come back out until you can figure your shit out.
Sir, this is a Jiffy Lube.
Exactly. Ma'am, this is a Denny's. You need to...
What? I really like the eggs over my hammy. I really like it.
My grand slam is so grand. So he steps back so that she can open her eyes, and she is immediately, like I said, bibliophile. She is turned on by this library because it's okay. For me and people like me who were born during a specific time period who have a library thing, it's Beast's library from Beauty and the Beast, right?
Right.
This is better than that because it's 2 stories and it is like huge. Mm-hmm. With these hand polished like brass, what are those, like sliding library?
Oh, the sliding library ladders.
Ladders, yeah. And
La escalera.
Oh, and she's looking around at all of these books and she's trying to take it in and she can't because there's just so many. And it would take her a lifetime or more to go through all of them individually.
Well, luckily.
Yeah, right? But she's like, so do you buy every book? Do you buy every book that comes out every year? You must, to have this many books. You must buy every single book that comes out every year. And he's like, yeah, well, no, not all of them. But I do have I have multiple printings and multiple editions of, all of every book that I love. I think she says something about him having like several different versions of the Lord of the Rings, which would make sense, especially because like the Silmarillion has been printed in special fancy editions and things like that, as have the trilogy.
Did you ever have I know I did. Did you ever have a book that you bought multiple versions of, like on purpose? I feel like you did. Okay, I thought you did.
No, I don't usually buy more than one copy of a book ever.
Okay.
Unless I am intending on giving it away. If I did have a book that I owned multiple versions of, it would be American Gods by Neil Gaiman because it's my favorite book of all time.
Yeah. Okay.
But I know for sure, I remember you did.
I used to collect different editions of Dante's Inferno. Mm-hmm. I read it in high school and was obsessed with it, and I loved reading different interpretations and mostly it was the front matter, I guess, like the different, translation, the person who translated it and their notes.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting.
The slightly different translations.
Yep.
Do you still really like Dante?
I mean, I would reread the Inferno for sure, but I never read anything else of his. I just really liked Dante's Inferno.
Because I think you would really like, if you're really into Dante's Inferno and you want to get into reading smut, might I recommend Gabriel's Inferno?
Oh, that's one of the first ones I remember you reading.
Yeah.
Wow.
That one is about a professor who specializes in teaching Dante, and his
God, I feel like I remember seeing that in the office at Oak Street.
Yeah. It's been a while. Gabriel came out a long time ago.
Okay.
His very treacherous, sweaty, incredible affair / love story, I think, with a student or a former student, or maybe a teaching assistant, something like that. But it was really, really good.
Okay.
And there's two of them. I think it's Gabriel's Infernal and Gabriel's Rapture.
Okay.
Anyway.
So Declan. Lots of different
books.
Versions of different books.
So many books. All the books. And she's looking around and she says this quote. She says, "A book can take you somewhere. A bookshelf can take you anywhere. A library can take you everywhere." It's a lovely quote.
Yeah.
And he is stopped dead in his tracks because Rosamund has made a slight she just quoted him, one of his books, to him. And he's like, "What did you just say? What did you just say?" And at first I was like, oh no, shit's about to get real for a second here. He's going to get upset. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't care.
No.
He's just suddenly, well, the vibe has changed. Now he knows that she knows who he is.
Vibe change.
Yeah. And she explains to him that his book on book repair, on fixing books, is a book that she found in her high school years, and she loved it so much that it made her want to become an archivist. She's always loved books, but this is so she I read it, and then I started repairing my own books, and then I started getting really into repairing vellum and doing hand stitching on the bindings and stuff like that, and it's all because of Declan. And then she says she found another book of his, and then she read another one, and she realized it's not the same name, but this is definitely him because it's the same writing style.
He's got a voice.
Yeah. And she has done enough digging to be able to find, he wrote one fantasy novel. She found it. She read it. She liked it. Not as much as the other stuff, but she liked it. He wrote an entire series of mysteries. She read every single one. Declan Triarius is her favorite author ever.
Got it.
And he's mostly just flattered.
I can imagine. I mean, don't tell him about the stalking stuff, but yeah.
No, I think she does tell him that she stalked him. Just a little light stalking.
Light stalking.
And
it's not illegal. Yes,
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Don't get it twisted, guys. It's cute in a book. It's not cute in real life.
It's like third-degree stalking. No, it's just stalking.
No, there's no degrees. Don't follow people. It's fucking creepy.
I did that. Just side. I was walking down the streets of Columbus today behind a lot of slow people, and I would constantly, I'm riding my bike on the trail, on your left, and this one old lady was like, oh, thank you. And I said, I'm a 6'2", 200-pound man covered in tattoos. I know what I look like. I'm not gonna just breeze past you and startle you.
Yeah, I mean, you are slightly scary. I mean, if you were coming up on me at night, I would be like, hey, you better cross the street. You are hot, but that doesn't mean you wouldn't murder me.
Nah. So Declan, flattered.
Yeah, Declan, very flattered. They have a conversation about all of this. They talk it out. He's pretty cool with it. I mean, she admits that she tracked him down and stuff, and he's okay with it. Obviously, when you are immortal and supernaturally strong and stuff, you can be really cool with a hot girl following you around.
Yeah.
You're not in any danger.
Yeah.
But it's
I'm kind of a dingus. I'd be cool with a hot girl following me around.
Yeah, you were a bit of a himbo.
Yeah.
You would be pretty cool with that. But then you'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm married.
I totally would.
You would.
I'm the worst / best himbo. I don't know if that.
No, a true himbo definitely respects the relationship that he's already got.
I'm the best himbo.
Yeah. This part of the book is hard to explain because this book reads a bit like a classic. like a Jane Austen novel.
That's what I was going to ask.
The language is very flowery,
A little
heightened. Yep. They're very verbose. There's a lot of extra added stuff in their language. It's great. I really enjoyed. No, but I really enjoyed it because it was like reading one of the classics that I love.
Okay.
You know, one of my favorite books is Jane Eyre. It was like reading Jane Eyre a little bit,
but with face sitting.
And with slightly modernized language.
Oh, okay.
And everything was a little easier to understand because I didn't have to try and learn a culture that I didn't know like I would have to read an Edwardian book. And they finally get down to the meat of it. She tells him that she wants to be with him. They definitely want to be with each other. They are so down with all of that. But she knows something else that he hasn't realized he's let on yet. And I imagine that it would be really easy to lose track of when you're that old. He is telling her about writing these books that he wrote 60 plus years ago.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's in his 20s to 30s.
Yeah.
So she knows, she figured it out a long time ago, but he has now played his hand a bit. She knows that he is an immortal. And so she tells him that. She's like, if you want to be with me forever, because he wants to be with her. Like, this is not a one night stand. He wants to be with her. She's like, well, if you really want to do that, you're going to have to make me an immortal like you. Yeah. Record scratch.
You're probably wondering how I ended up here.
Yeah. He's delighted that she realizes, but also kind of feels a bit like a dummy. And I guess you should, like, if you're gonna walk around being a 2,000-year-old man, you need to keep your cover straight, Declan.
Yeah, that's why I liked it how they did it in Eternals, the MCU movie.
Yeah,
with Kumail Nanjiani's character. Yeah, he just pretended to be a Bollywood star. And Bollywood, there is it's very common to have lineage.
Yeah.
So he just
dynasty.
he just pretended to be like multiple generations of Bollywood men.
Yeah, I've never watched that one. Does the older version of him just disappear from public life?
Retires. I don't know.
Yeah.
But fun story. He based that character off of Hrithik Roshan, the guy from Señorita. The guy in the black shirt.
The guy with the crazy blue eyes?
The guy. That's the actor that he based his character and look off of, is Hrithik Roshan.
He's great.
He's amazing.
Yeah. He's in that other one. Never mind. I'm not going to start talking about Bollywood.
Yeah, we are digressing hard.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm just letting the ADHD take the wheel here. So he tells her he's not an immortal. He is a vampire. And in order to be with him forever, he would have to turn her into a vampire. But he says, no, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to drink your blood.
Go on.
What's so funny?
I just imagine a vampire saying that. All right, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to drink your blood.
A vampire in khakis.
A khaki-clad vampire.
Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm going to drink your blood. Then you're going to drink my blood. Then I'm going to fuck you. Then I'm going to turn you into a vampire.
Wait. Okay, so I'm familiar with the trope of you drink their blood, then they drink your blood, and that's how they become a vampire. Is the fucking part of it in this universe? You have to be
no.
So they drink your blood, you drink their blood, they fuck you.
No.
Okay.
No. At least I don't think so.
Okay, so
although it gets a little muddy for me.
He drinks her, she drinks him, he fucks her, then something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's like, yes, immediately. Sounds great. Sounds good.
No notes.
But so they have while they're having this entire conversation, they're sort of having a wander through the library so she can look around, but she's also intentionally running away from him. It's that cat and mouse thing. It's a primal play thing. Primal play is a kink where you tap into your more baser nature.
You wear a loincloth, get a spear.
You could
draw stick figures on your wall of fucking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No.
No. Okay. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Now I'm just thinking about those stick figure fucking drawings on the wall from Sex Criminals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great comic book. Go read that.
It's an excellent comic book. Please go read it.
Yeah. And he's having a great time, and she's really enjoying this as well. He really loves the fact that she's outspoken and uninhibited, which is unusual for a plus-sized FMC that I've read. Now, that's not to say there aren't many more out there who are ballsy and confident, but usually a plus-sized FMC, one of the tropes is body shame.
Yeah.
She does not have any of that.
Good for her.
Breath of fresh air for me. And she is just fully playing. She's in the space, having a good time.
Some of that actor training coming out. Explore the space.
Yeah. She's having a really good time playing around with him, flirting with him, et cetera, et cetera. But eventually they do come together, and he bites her neck. And apparently, in this version of the vampire mythology, vampire fangs are coated in... This is not the first time I've read this either, but it's the first time I've read a whole book about it. Vampire fangs are coated in a special venom that feels really fucking good.
I've seen I've seen the trope where it's almost like an anesthetic, like a numbing.
Yeah, there are versions where it's or like it's there are versions where it makes you heal really fast.
Yep, that too.
Molly Harper's vampires, I think their saliva has a healing factor in it.
Mm-hmm.
But this one makes you feel high.
Okay.
And horny. Like you're on ecstasy.
Oh, I like that.
And then he gives her his blood. He bites his wrist and he puts his bloody wrist in her mouth. And this is where it got a little weird for me because I'm not used to blood play with humans. She's a human at this point. And she drinks his blood straight from his wrist, and she's cool about it.
I'm not.
Which is great for her. Yeah, it's a little weird for me, but
it's a little squicky.
It's a little squicky. But then she gets extra high because apparently vampire blood in the True Blood version, myth, makes you high, and it does in this one too. And she is soaring, like she's loving it. And he's also really loving it.
Jealous.
And because you want to be high.
I do.
Yeah. So she's having a really great time. He's like stripping her down and getting her out of the clothes that she's wearing, including she's wearing like a garter belt and thigh highs. Good for you.
Yeah.
You went to meet your favorite author wearing sexy underwear. I'm proud of you.
Yep. She knew what was going on.
Yeah, she had hopes.
She didn't wear her Wednesday underwear.
Just covered in little Jenna Ortega faces. No, he's stripping down, but he stays in his underwear. He gets her all the way naked. And he, I think, bites her again, but like on the thigh. There's a lot of blood exchange. The next couple of chapters are blood exchange and fucking. And I mean, I'm on board.
I'm on board for the fucking. we're talking about fucking. We're talking about triple C thick girl getting railed by a vampire. I'm in.
Yeah.
I know what I'm about. Blood.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Maybe no more vampire books for you.
Yeah.
But either way, she's having a wonderful time. He like sits her down in a chair and he's like just goddess worship on this woman. He is so into her, and yes. And then once she is fully ready, he grabs her, picks her up because he has vampire strength, pulls her down onto his face, and encourages her to sit.
Yeah.
And I want to say that he says that that he is her throne. I think he says his jaw is her throne, and she is welcome to sit on it anytime. So yes, we're here for it. We stand a face sitting scene. And she just goes for it. She goes nuts. And again, usually, like, she's a little worried about smothering him.
Don't.
Fair, but he does not have to breathe.
Oh yeah,
he's dead.
Good point.
He does not have to breathe. So she is down for it. And
I do, but I don't give a shit. I don't care. Fucking Ivan Drago. He dies. Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die.
Okay, so this much screaming then ensues.
Oh,
the
yeah.
good kind, obviously.
Yeah.
The next chapter I remember is in Declan's point of view because he's just going to town on her.
I know what his point of view looks like right about now.
He's loving it.
Yeah.
He's going nuts. And then at some point he's like, and I think we should probably stop now. Like I'm not great with time because time doesn't matter to me anymore. It's a construct for an immortal, but it has to have been at least an hour.
Mm-hmm.
She's been sitting on his face and just coming repeatedly for like an hour.
Good for everybody.
Everybody's winning. Everybody's a winner in this one. And so he's like, and now I'm going to fuck you. And she is like, he gives her more blood because it's also a stimulant. It's like keeping her awake.
Do we get a dick report on Declan?
No.
All right.
No mention of shape, size, nothing.
I actually prefer that.
It is refreshing.
Yep.
It is refreshing.
It's
I mean, I know that
like,
we love a weird dick around here.
We do love weird dicks. We are pro weird dick.
We are so pro weird dick.
Like
monster dicks with weird things.
It's 4
and
Coke cans stacked on top of each other.
I mean, I once read one where the guy had pincers. It was not that weird. He was Mothman though. The Carnal Cryptid series by Vera Valentine. She fucks Mothman, the Jersey Devil, and a local sea monster from a lake in Pennsylvania.
It reminds me of a scripted podcast that I pitched to a friend to Elle about, like, it's like field recordings of like cryptid researchers, but they're fucking them.
Well, yeah.
And they were like,
Vera Valentine wrote it.
Way ahead of you.
Uh-huh. The Carnal Cryptid series by Vera Valentine. That one's a little weird. That one's a little darker.
Got it. So totally normal dick.
Totally
as far as we
normal
know.
dick on Declan. Although he feels like at one point he does say like her blood is in me and my blood is in her and we are connected and like her blood is like like her life essence is trying to go back into her body via his dick. Not like in a I couldn't tell if it was poetic or if it was. It's the circle of orgasms. But he's like, and it feels bigger, like it feels harder. It feels. I assume you just sort of feel that way about your dick sometimes.
You
when
do.
You're like having a good dick day.
Yeah, you're having a really good dick day.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're like, this is an 8, but then sometimes you're like, this is a 10. I've done that.
Yeah,
I've done that. I would like, I wish you wanted to have sex right now because this is a quality erection.
And I'm just like, no thanks. And you're like, all right, I'll go take care of it by
I'll
myself.
be back in a few minutes.
Yeah. So he's feeling like he's having a great dick day. A woman did just use his face for an hour, so he's probably extra.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, I want you to fuck me like. Going back to the actual story, I want you to fuck me like a vampire. And he's like, okay, well, hang on tight, because it's like. More violent and slightly stronger. Not violent in like a scary way, but like
I'll go get the Lon Chaney mask. No, sorry, Boris Karloff.
I'm gonna do my hair like Gary Oldman did.
Yeah.
I want to fuck you while your hair looks like an ass on top of your head. So there is one more blood exchange, and then they start fucking, and it is intense. It is over the top. Like at one point he flips her on her stomach and he grabs her by one arm, like behind her back, like an arm bar, and then like pulls her backward. Sorry, I pulled my own head backward just to demonstrate to my husband what was happening there. He like pulls her head back.
Yeah. And
he's like, she's just like hovering over the ground being fucked by this man from behind. And she's loving it. I mean, she doesn't want him to stop. She never wants him to stop. She thinks it's incredible. And good for her. At some point, though, I probably would have tapped out because they go for hours.
Luckily, he's got that supernatural dick to keep her up in the air like that comfortably.
Seriously. But so they go for hours. Like he doesn't know how long it's been, but it's been a long time. Several hours later, they finally finish.
Several hours later.
Yeah. Right. And there's the blood exchanges continue. Yeah. This is how he's keeping her. It has like an instant caffeine, maybe cocaine. I don't know. I've never done coke.
Well,
it's an upper.
So here's
right?
here's a question. I don't know if this occurs in a lot of vampire books. Do vampires ejaculate? Do male or do penis having vampires? Okay.
He does.
Vampires with penises do
Vampires
ejaculate.
with penises. He does ejaculate. And at one point she even asked, she's like, I know you don't have sperm, but like you did cum. I'm full of cum and I have to go pee. You're supposed to pee after sex. Everybody should know this already, but if you don't, you have to go. If you have a vagina, go pee after sex, so you don't get a UTI. Anyway, he says he thinks it's like protein. He's like, it's protein adjacent. I don't know what it is, but he does have an ejaculate.
Okay,
comes out of his body. Anyway, so going back to, they finish fucking after hours and hours and hours, and she passes out immediately. I should hope so. Exactly. It's been a long night of drug use and feral sex. And so he just covers her up in a blanket and picks her up and takes her to the couch. She wakes up indeterminate amount of time later, and he's sitting there reading a book in a chair, waiting for her to wake up. And she asks him to come over and have a cuddle. So they do. He's like, oh, I was giving you some space. I didn't know if you were gonna want me to be right on top of you, or if you even still feel the same way now that you've had your brains fucked out by a vampire.
Is the cuddle what officially makes her a vampire?
No.
You have to cuddle a vampire?
No, I would love that if it were that easy, right? That would be so cute. You want to become a vampire, you gotta have a real good snuggle.
and a blood exchange.
There's a blood exchange, but also then you just snuggle.
Yeah.
So he comes over to have a snuggle. She climbs on top of him. Like,
yeah, I know what
the
you mean.
straddly cuddle.
Yeah,
we've done that several times in our lives. The straddly cuddle, and they're having a talk, and they're just enjoying themselves, and then they start to have sex again. And he gives her more blood, but he gives her like a lot this time. He takes a lot from her, and then he says,
he's dosing her. Yeah,
go, just drink until you can't drink anymore. And she's like, okay. So she does, and then they have sex again. But she's on top. She's leading the way on this one a little bit more. It's less intense. It's more love-makey, less brain fucky. And she gets to her peak. She starts to come, and he breaks her neck. Not on
purpose?
Yeah. Well, yes, on purpose, because she has to die. That's how you become a vampire.
God.
It doesn't happen on the page, because that would be a vibe shift, right? But
I would call that a mood killer.
She has an orgasm, and the next thing she knows, she's waking up, basically. But he had to break her neck.
He didn't have to.
Well, he had to kill her, and that was the fastest and most efficient way to do it without pain.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether or not you have to be fucking the vampire. I really don't think you have to be fucking the vampire, but she certainly was.
That's what I want to know. I want to know if it has to be very specific. You have to do several blood exchanges. You have to fuck twice, and then you have to be on top, and then you have to get your neck broken with vampire penis inside you.
Yeah. That's what really does it.
Or conversely, or if the vampire has the vagina,
the pussy.
You have to be in the vampire.
Yeah. No. I'm pretty sure it's probably just drink a lot of their blood and then die.
Okay. So she's a vampire.
She's a vampire, and she wakes up like a feral cat, or like a neurodivergent person having a sensory overload, essentially, is how it's described.
Yeah. Now you're speaking my language.
Yes. Yeah. The couch is too scratchy, but the blanket is too soft. The air is cold, but she feels hot. Like, Yeah,
you completely understand.
You understand it. I know you do.
You heard me bitching about my watch.
Yes. Yeah. The floppy strap of your watch is.
If I feel any motion on the watch, I want to throw it into the sun.
So she's completely freaking out because she also doesn't remember what happened. Like, she's got nothing, and her neck hurts. Go figure. And she's sore all over because she's been very thoroughly fucked, but she can't remember anything that happened the night before after going to dinner. So she doesn't know what happened, and it all sort of comes rushing back really fast. And she's having a total meltdown. He grabs her gently, like talks to her, talks her down, pets her hair, how you have to do for me when I'm having a panic attack is what he does for her.
Breaks her neck again.
No.
I'm just kidding.
And essentially tells her, just use me as like, I am your point of light right now. Everything else is too much. Just focus on me and you'll come back to yourself. And she does. And she remembers everything that happened. And she realizes, oh, fuck, I'm a vampire now.
Yeah. Better go quit my job.
Yeah. That's the thing they never really talk about.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, she's an archivist, so she's indoors all the time.
But Is she gonna keep her job? It's probably a day job.
Yeah.
She works for a university, I think. So it's probably a day job. Does she have parents? Does she have friends? Is she just going to have she went to go find, she told her BFF she went to go find Declan Triarius, and then she never came back, and now he is America's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. So they get themselves situated. She's like, is it always going to be like this? Both the sex and the blood exchange, the drugging effects and the feelings that she's having now, these overwhelming sensations because all of her senses have been heightened so much. Like it'll get easier with time. The sex is always going to be incredible.
Bonus.
The blood is always going to feel real good. And I'll teach you how to feed off of humans and stuff like that. She very quickly was like, yeah, I can kill people. There are a lot of bad people in this world. It'll be fine. And I was like, yes, if I was a vampire, I'd be just tracking down bad guys all the time. Yeah. We wouldn't have Congress by the time I was done. So she wants to go pee. She hasn't gone pee yet. She's like, can I get a UTI? That's why I brought that up earlier. Can I get a UTI? No, she can't ever get sick again. But, and they start talking a little more while she's doing her business and whatever. They start talking a little more, and she's like, how old are you really? And he's like, I don't keep track of that. But I think I'm about 2,000 years old.
But I was around for the Crusades.
Yeah.
So...
And she's like, but your name is Declan. That's not a 2,000-year-old name. That's a 400-year-old name.
Yeah. I've had a couple.
His real name, his true name is Tritarius Samarus or something like that.
Yeah.
He's
again ancient.
Roman.
Yeah.
Ancient Roman. Which is why his last name is now Triarius. It's a play on that. He's the third son, and ancient Romans used to name their kids by number.
Yeah.
This is my kid 1, and this is 2. This is 7.
They didn't invent names yet.
We can't talk about 4 through 6 with my wife around because she's still sad about it. And this is 7, and she's pregnant with 8. So hey. Anyway.
Come here, Ocho.
It would be Octus, I believe.
I just
in
like saying
ancient Latin. Ocho is funny though.
So she's quizzing him on the name.
She's getting to know him a little better, and she's checking herself out in the mirror, and she's a little glittery. A nod to the Twilight girlies out there, and boys, I guess. But I never met a boy who read all of them and liked them. I'm sure you exist. I'm not denying your existence.
I read the first one. Didn't hate it.
Yeah. Well, it's not for everybody. I understand why. Mostly because you were an adult man at that time, and that's a high school romance. So she's a little bit shiny. She's a little bit sparkly, a little bit glittery. Declan says when he first changed, he thought that it was starlight pouring out of his pores. But it's like it's like a vampire essence kind of thing. But it's like all of her stretch marks look like they're full of glitter, which I just love. I just love that. Because stretch marks already, if you have big ones like mine, they're a little silvery and sort of shiny.
Yeah.
So now they're like decorative.
They do have a little bit of like that silver skin sort of look.
But now they're all glittery and stuff. And he's glittery too. And humans can't see it. It's a vampire thing. That's
how they see each other.
I guess how they see each other, just a little bit shiny and whatever. But he tells her that they have all the time in the world to get to know each other. And she's like, and the library. Like, you have the library. I love the library. I'm not really getting into just how deeply she loves this library. Like, I'm pretty sure would stay with, like, if he was kind of an asshole, like, yeah, he's my favorite author, but he really likes Andrew Tate. But look at that library. Like she would ignore red flags over the library.
I'll listen to him quote Top G just so I can get into the fucking.
But he has a first edition of The Lord of the Rings. First edition.
Signed by Tolkien.
With notes in the margins. And he's like, yeah, I've got the library, and we can go see, we have all the time in the world. We can go see every single library. And she's like, everyone? Yup, everyone. I own 6. He owns 6 libraries.
For-profit libraries? Or, I mean, like...
Are there for-profit libraries?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
States.
No, I don't know. I don't know how library... I just assume that they're all, like, government adjacent and
Yeah.
funded, but
No, I assumed that it was because he was 2,000 years old and therefore had the time
just
to
had
be,
to like have them in like
yeah.
depositories.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
see. I'm thinking of library.
Oh, like lending library.
Yeah.
No, they're just his libraries. There's private fuck off rich guy libraries.
Yeah. I get it.
He's 2,000 years old. There's a lot of books to be had in that time, although there weren't books that long ago. 2,000 years ago, there weren't like books to be had.
They hadn't invented printing.
No, they had to write everything out, and it was all on scrolls and stuff or something. I don't really know. I'm not a historian. Don't come for me, history people.
I was gonna say, don't at me.
I'm not trying to make any claims here. But anyway, so he owns 6 libraries, and he says he's given enough monetarily and also like loaned enough really nice books to so many libraries throughout the world. He's got connections everywhere. They can just go to all the libraries, private and public, that they ever want to see for the rest of time. She's got books, she's got blood, and she's got Declan.
Books, blood, and boners. She's got all
Yep.
the 3 Bs. Everything she needs.
And she's very happy. And then at the very end, he goes, "Hey, you know what I just realized? I never kissed you." They spent the entire night fucking like wild dogs, and they never once kissed. So they share a kiss, and it's lovely and sweet. And off they go into their own little corner of eternity, as Stephanie Meyer would say. It's a lovely ending
Yeah.
to a lovely book. I really, really enjoyed it.
I do love the idea of like I love the sort of like the concept of vampirism as like eternal love. Like I would,
Yes.
if I could be a vampire with you and just live forever,
Yeah.
you know?
Just hang out with you for the rest of my life? Absolutely.
Yeah.
For the rest of my eternity?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Until
Absolutely.
the world burned around us.
Kidding me? Just we would fuck off. We're gonna live forever.
I mean, we have children, so we can't do that.
I know. I would
But-
not do that now that we have kids.
Yeah.
You know.
But if it was just us, oh hell yes. That's
You kidding me?
fantasy
Yeah.
come true.
So I do love that, and I also love the wild sex.
Yeah.
Involving-
I mean,
Involving,
we're here for the fucking.
I love the wild sex with a hot thick girl.
Yes.
Just like the one I'm sitting across from right now.
Oh. And you are a very handsome man. You're not wearing khakis.
No, I'm wearing very short shorts.
Yeah, you are.
But I wore khakis all week.
Yeah,
and
you did
I'm
for
still
work,
I'm
didn't
still
ya?
trying. Yeah, I did, and I'm still trying to shake that off. When I was in that conference center, I had to take off my dad pullover. I was like, these people need to see these tattoos.
Oh yeah.
They need to see what I'm.
They need to know that you're cool under there.
Yeah, they need to know what they're fucking with over here.
Well, yeah, because when you have the dad pullover on, you look like you could be a Republican.
I do look a little unfortunate.
The dad pullover and the khakis and
Yep.
your sneakers.
Yep.
Your I'm gonna be on my feet all day shoes.
Yeah.
You look like you could talk a mean game about lawnmowers and have thoughts on Bud Light. You know,
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
then you take it off and oh my God, he has tattoos, and now a whole separate demographic is like, I want to go talk to that guy.
I did. I was walking around Cbus a little bit yesterday before the conference, like between the time I had to set up my booth and everything, and I was wearing my Pride Flag veteran shirt, and definitely got some looks. Not all of them positive, but that's Ohio.
Well, as you are in Ohio.
Yeah.
I mean, they're everywhere. The bigots, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that is The Vampire in the Bookstore by Elle M. Drew. And I wish I could have enjoyed it more, if I'm being honest with you. I was a little harried all week, and I was reading when I could.
Yeah.
And I know that I missed stuff. So I'm probably going to read it again. Yes. And I'm going to love it again. So
Yeah, I'm working from home all week, so
10 out of 10, please go buy it. Although I am going to have to decide, I don't know what I'm reading next week.
oh, well, it'll be a surprise for everybody.
Yeah. Or, you know what? We could just do this. I have a list, like a running wish list.
Well, I mean, we've talked about a couple that we wanted to put in there.
Yes, we have.
Do you want to do gay hockey?
We could.
Do you want to do gay hockey, or do you want to do like Big Beautiful Man? You want to do?
Oh, come on. Why aren't you loading?
Well, probably because our internet's out.
Oh,
No,
shit.
the light just literally changed on it went from red to white.
That's hilarious.
Anyway.
Oh, here it goes. I'm not going to do that. Let's let's ask. Oh, yeah, let's do that. Okay. We're going to do one of the classics. Not really. I mean, I think they're 15 years old now. They're not super classic, but they are one of the cornerstones of the romance world in a genre that we have not done yet. We're going to outer space. Next week.
Space fucking.
Next week, I am going to read Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon.
Yes.
I have read this book a couple of times over the course of my reading career. I don't actually remember it that well because I've done it in audio, and I often forget the books that I've read after. I make notes on all of these. I couldn't tell you what happened in half of them after I read them because my brain just goes, okay, we really enjoyed that. Next. We don't remember.
More books.
I will get to once again read this book, and I will tell you the fantastic tale of the Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon.
I cannot wait.
Oh yeah. Alien fucking. It's just like monster fucking, but in space.
Make sure to check us out on all the social medias. Well, not all the social media, just like two, really. And really just the one. We're on TikTok. We do post pictures and stuff and like little updates on Instagram. Speaking of Instagram, I think we should mention the very generous.
Yes,
we should. After the very kind author Rachel Renner reached out to us and said that she listened to our episodes about Inked and was so touched and so flattered, and we exchanged messages, and she sent us a signed. Inscribed copy of the second book in the Gilded Blood series.
Yes.
So Rachel, if you're still listening to the show, I know that we exchanged messages and everything, but that was the sweetest thing. It was the kindest thing. I bought for my own personal use, Inked.
Yeah.
And as soon as I finish this excellent Howard Bryant book, I'm going to jump into that. I'm very excited. So Rachel, thank you so much. That was so kind. And we were fans before, but we're more bigger fans now.
I swear to God. And I told you that when we first got her first message, I was like, look, all authors are celebrities to me. It is exactly the same to me as if I got a DM from Tom Hiddleston or something.
God.
Well, maybe not her, but Tom Hiddleston.
T. Hitty.
Who?
Tom Hiddleston. T. Hitty.
T. Hitty. Oh, yeah.
just fucking around, making shit up.
Confusing your wife. It was amazing. I was like, holy shit, an author talked to me. And then a few days later, Emmeline Quinn, the author of Halloween, reached out to me because she realized that we live in the same city that she used to live in. And I was like, oh my God, another author talked to me.
I nearly pissed myself.
So good.
She sent me a voice message, or she sent us a voice message. And I was like, is she going to was she so furious that she's telling us off? Like, text will not do this justice. You must hear the anger in my voice. But no, it was very lovely and very sweet. So Rachel, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. Back to the end of the show.
Back to the end.
TikTok, Instagram is pretty much where we hang out. So go check us out. Katie's really the one that kind of drives the TikTok stuff. I'm still trying to figure it out, but quite frankly, I'm just afraid that people are going to hate me.
Yeah.
And the internet scares me.
I don't make a lot of content for TikTok, but I do use Book Talk to get most of my recommendations for books, which is awesome because I've gotten some really good recommendations. Like I said, last week I was reading that book, Fuck an Angel, Love a Demon, or something like that. Screw an Angel, Love a Demon by Smoggy.
Yeah, because
I haven't had a chance to keep reading it.
It's because we talked about it on the Lost episode. Like it sounds like an old timey aphorism. You know, like feed a fever, starve a cold.
Yeah, screw an angel, love a demon.
Yeah,
and I'm really excited to jump back into that one because I was really, really liking it. But this week I couldn't. Usually I have 2 to 3 books going at once. This week I could barely finish this one. So
it was a long week. And I have not seen, I've only been with you for 2 hours. So why don't we put this episode to bed so we can go be together?
Absolutely. In that case, I've had a lovely time. I'm so excited to be back and recording with you, my love. And listener out there, if there is a book in you, write it. And if there's fucking in it, I'll read it.
And then she will come on this show and explain it to me for your entertainment.
Now I'm getting off this microphone.
Please do.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.